Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. 1. Integration. Now, the teachings of yoga. Yoga is to still the patternings of consciousness. Then, pure awareness can abide in its very nature. Otherwise, awareness takes itself to be the patterns of consciousness. There are 5 types of patterns, including both painful and painless. They are right knowledge, misperception, conceptualization, deep sleep, and memory. Right knowledge arises from direct perception, inference, or the scriptures. Misperception is false knowledge or not based on what really is. Conceptualization arises with linguistic knowledge without contact with real things. Deep sleep is a pattern grounded in the perception that nothing exists. When a mental modification of an object previously experienced and not forgotten comes back into consciousness, that is memory. This patterning of consciousness is stilled by both practice and non-reaction. Practice is the sustained effort to rest in that stillness, and this practice becomes firmly rooted when it is cultivated skillfully and continuously over a long time. As for non-reaction, one can recognize that it has been fully achieved when no attachment arises in regard to anything at all, whether perceived directly or learned. When the ultimate level of non-reaction has been attained, pure awareness clearly knows itself as independent from the fundamental qualities of nature. At first, the stilling process is accompanied by 4 kinds of cognition: reasoning, insight, bliss, and pure I amness. Later, after one practices steadily to bring all thoughts to a standstill, these 4 kinds of cognition fall away, leaving only a store of latent impressions in the depth of memory. Once the body is gone, and these latent impressions dissolve in nature, they are inclined to be reborn. For all others, realization could come through faith, vigor, mindfulness, integration, and wisdom. For those who seek liberation wholeheartedly, realization is at hand. How near realization is depends on whether the practice is mild, moderate, or intense. Realization may also come to one who devotes themselves wholly to pure awareness. Pure awareness is incorruptible and indestructible, utterly independent of and unaffected by cause and effect, lacking any store of latent impressions or desires. It is the complete manifestation of the seed of omniscience. Existing beyond time, pure awareness is the teacher of even the most ancient teachers. Pure awareness is represented by the sound Om. Through repetition, its meaning becomes clear. Then, internalization develops and obstacles fall away, bringing about right knowledge. Sickness, dullness, doubt, carelessness, laziness, hedonism, delusion, lack of progress, and inconstancy which leads to a loss of progress are all distractions which, by stirring up consciousness, act as barriers to stillness. When they do, one may experience distress, depression, or the inability to maintain steadiness of posture or breathing. One can subdue these distractions by working with one of the following principles of practice. Consciousness settles as one radiates friendliness, compassion, delight, and equanimity towards all things, whether pleasant or painful, good or bad. Or by pausing after breath flows in or out, or by steadily observing as new sensations materialize, or when experiencing thoughts that are luminous and free of sorrow, or by focusing on things that do not inspire attachment, or by reflecting on an experience during a dream or deep sleep, or by meditating on anything one chooses that is elevating. Gradually, one's mastery and concentration extends from the primal atom to the greatest magnitude. As the patterning of consciousness subsides, a transparent way of seeing saturates consciousness. Like a jewel, it reflects equally whatever lies before it, whether subject, object, or active perceiving. Put another way, one obtains a state devoid of differentiation between the knower, the process of knowing, and the known. This culmination of meditation is called Samadhi. So long as conceptual or linguistic knowledge pervades this transparency, it is called Sarvitarka Samadhi, or Samadhi with deliberation. At the next stage, called Nirvitarka Samadhi, or samadhi without deliberation, objects cease to be colored by memory. Only their essential nature shines forth, without the distinction of name and quality. In the same way, both savichara, reflective, and nirvichara, super or non-reflective samadhi, which are practiced upon subtle objects, are explained. The subtlety of possible objects of concentration ends only at the undefinable. These four kinds of samadhi are sabija, with seed, containing latent impressions which could bring one back into bondage or mental disturbance. In the purity of nirvichara samadhi, the Supreme Self shines. The wisdom that arises in this absolute true consciousness is unerring. This special truth is totally different from the knowledge gained by hearing, studying, or inferring about the scriptures. The impression produced by this samadhi wipes out all other impressions. When even this last impression is wiped out, and the patterning of consciousness is completely stilled, there is Nirbija, seedless, samadhi.